The boxing world is buzzing with uncertainty and drama surrounding Gervonta "Tank" Davis and his anticipated rematch with Lamont Roach Jr., a fight that has been plagued by delays, legal troubles, and a lack of commitment from Davis. The situation has grown increasingly complicated, with Roach openly expressing frustration and doubt about whether the fight will even happen. At the same time, other major players in the sport, like Manny Pacquiao and Shakur Stevenson, are circling, adding new layers to an already tangled narrative. The rematch, initially set for August 16, 2025, in Las Vegas, was meant to resolve the controversy from their March 1, 2025, bout, which ended in a disputed majority draw. However, recent developments, including Davis's arrest on domestic violence charges, have cast serious doubt on the fight's future, leaving Roach in limbo and prompting speculation about what comes next for all involved. The saga began when Davis and Roach fought to a controversial draw earlier this year. The March bout was a high-stakes clash for Davis's WBA lightweight title, and many believed Roach deserved the win. A pivotal moment came in the 9th round when Davis took a knee after a jab from Roach, a moment that should have been ruled a knockdown but wasn't, altering the scorecards and allowing Davis to retain his title. The controversial decision sparked immediate calls for a rematch, and after months of speculation, a date was set for August 16. The boxing community was eager for the rematch, not just to settle the score but because Roach had proven he could hang with one of the sport's biggest stars. Davis, with an undefeated record of 30-0-1 and 28 knockouts, is known for his devastating power and draw as a pay-per-view attraction. Roach, with a record of 25-1-2 and 10 knockouts, had earned respect for his technical skill and resilience, making the rematch a highly anticipated event. However, the build-up to the rematch has been anything but smooth. On July 11, 2025, Davis was arrested in Miami Beach on a misdemeanor battery charge stemming from an alleged domestic violence incident on June 15, Father's Day. According to reports, Davis assaulted his ex-girlfriend, the mother of 2 of his 3 children, by hitting her in the back of the head and slapping her, causing a minor injury. The incident, partially recorded by the victim's mother, led to Davis's arrest after a license plate reader flagged his vehicle. He was released the next day after posting bail, but the arrest sent shockwaves through the boxing world, raising questions about his focus and the rematch's viability. This wasn't Davis's first legal trouble. He has a history of domestic violence allegations and a 2023 guilty plea related to a 2020 hit-and-run incident in Baltimore, which resulted in house arrest and community service. These recurring issues have only amplified concerns about his discipline and moral compass, as some in the boxing community have pointed out. Roach, who had been training diligently for the rematch, was quick to react to the news of Davis's arrest. In a social media post, he expressed a mix of disappointment and skepticism, joking that he had always suspected Davis was avoiding the fight. In a more serious tone, Roach stated he hoped the allegations weren't true, as he doesn't wish jail time on anyone, but his frustration was palpable. He later went live on social media, where he didn't mince words, stating bluntly that he believes Davis doesn't want to fight him again. Roach's comments weren't just about the arrest. They reflected months of delays and uncertainty. The fight, originally rumored for June or July, had already been pushed to August, and even then, no official announcement had been made. Roach revealed that Davis hadn't even signed the contract, a detail that underscored the lack of commitment from Davis's camp. For Roach, who has stayed in shape and fulfilled his obligations, the situation feels like a betrayal of the opportunity he's worked so hard for. The boxing world has taken notice of Roach's plight. Boxing insider Rick Glazer confirmed on social media that the August 16th date is officially off, stating plainly that Davis never signed the bout agreement. Glazer went further, claiming that Davis doesn't want to face Roach again, describing the rematch as a fight Davis is deliberately avoiding. This revelation shifted the narrative from a potential delay to the possibility that the rematch may never happen. For Roach, this is more than just a professional setback, it's personal. He's invested months of preparation, both physically and emotionally, only to be left in the dark by Davis's camp. The silence from Davis and his promoters at Premier Boxing Champions, PBC, has only deepened the frustration, with no updates or explanations forthcoming. Roach's live stream painted a picture of a fighter who feels strung along, his sharpness and readiness wasted on a fight that was never fully confirmed. Roach's comments also hinted at why Davis might be hesitant. Their first fight was the toughest of Davis's career, with Roach outboxing him for stretches and exposing vulnerabilities that few opponents have. The controversial non-knockdown call in the 9th round saved Davis from a potential loss, and many fans and analysts believe Roach was the rightful winner. Roach himself believes he has Davis's number, citing their shared history in the amateur ranks in the DMV area and his own in-the-pocket skills as reasons why Davis struggles against him. Roach's confidence isn't just bravado. It's backed by the fact that he took everything Davis threw at him in their first fight and came close to dethroning him. For Davis, the rematch represents a high-risk, potentially low-reward scenario, especially with bigger paydays looming against fighters like Shakur Stevenson or even Manny Pacquiao. Speaking of Stevenson, the WBC lightweight champion has emerged as a key figure in this unfolding drama. Fresh off a dominant win over William Zepeda on July 12, 2025, Stevenson has been vocal about his desire to face either Davis or Roach. He's expressed respect for Roach, noting their shared history sparring in the DMV and praising Roach's skill set. Stevenson predicted that Roach would enter the rematch with even more confidence, knowing he can't be hurt by Davis's power. In a March 29 interview, Stevenson went so far as to pick Roach to win the rematch, a bold stance that surprised many given Davis's reputation. Stevenson's interest in Roach isn't just hypothetical. He's called for a potential fight, describing it as a hell of a skillful matchup that he believes will happen one day. Roach has reciprocated, reposting Stevenson's message and signaling his openness to the fight. For Roach, a bout with Stevenson could be a way to stay active and capitalize on his momentum, especially if the Davis rematch falls through entirely. Meanwhile, Manny Pacquiao, the 46-year-old boxing legend and recent Hall of Fame inductee, has thrown his name into the mix, calling out Davis for a potential blockbuster fight after his upcoming bout against Mario Barrios. Pacquiao's promoter, Sean Gibbons, has been vocal about the matchup, noting that Pacquiao would have a rare size advantage over Davis, who is smaller than most of Pacquiao's past opponents. Gibbons revealed that talks for a Davis-Pacquiao fight happened previously but fell apart due to timing and disagreements. Now, with Pacquiao preparing for Barrios and Davis's rematch with Roach in jeopardy, the possibility is back on the table. A Pacquiao-Davis fight would be a massive pay-per-view event, pitting a legend against one of the sport's biggest current draws. However, Gibbons acknowledged that Davis's lackluster performance against Roach has dimmed his aura slightly, suggesting that a loss or another poor showing could complicate the narrative around such a high-profile fight. The uncertainty surrounding the Davis-Roach rematch has also drawn commentary from other figures in the sport. Former champion Tim Bradley, known for his sharp analysis, has been particularly critical of Davis. On his YouTube channel, Bradley mocked the idea that Davis could look past Roach to bigger fights like Stevenson, pointing out that Davis can't even catch a Roach. Bradley argued that Davis's distractions outside the ring, including his legal troubles, are affecting his focus and performance. He also emphasized Roach's fearlessness and growing confidence, suggesting that Davis may not be mentally prepared for the challenge. Bradley's comments echo a broader sentiment in the boxing community. Davis's offering issues are starting to overshadow his in-ring accomplishments, and his reluctance to sign the rematch contract only fuels speculation that he's avoiding Roach. For Roach, the situation is a frustrating crossroads. On one hand, he's still holding out hope for the Davis rematch, a fight that could define his career and cement his status as a lightweight elite. On the other hand, the constant delays and lack of commitment from Davis are forcing him to consider other options. A fight with Stevenson would be a technical masterpiece, showcasing two of the division's most skilled fighters. It might not have the same financial upside as a Davis rematch, but it would keep Roach active and relevant in a stacked lightweight division. Roach has made it clear he's ready to move on if necessary, even suggesting he'd rather fight Stevenson than wait indefinitely for Davis. His focus is on staying active and capitalizing on the momentum he gained from their first fight, rather than letting his career stall while Davis sorts out his issues. The boxing public is equally frustrated, with fans expressing disappointment over the potential cancellation of the rematch. Social media platforms like X have been abuzz with reactions, from Roach's candid live stream to Glazer's confirmation that the August 16th date is dead. The sentiment is one of exhaustion, with Davis's offering antics and sympathy for Roach, who has done everything right but is still left in limbo. Some fans speculate that Davis is strategically avoiding Roach to preserve his marketability for bigger fights, like a potential showdown with Stevenson or Pacquiao. Others believe his legal troubles are a convenient excuse to duck a dangerous opponent. Either way, the lack of transparency from Davis's camp has only fueled the narrative that he's running from the challenge. As for Davis, his silence speaks volumes. The absence of any public commitment to the rematch, coupled with his legal troubles, paints a picture of a fighter at a crossroads. His talent is undeniable, but his offering behavior is starting to erode the goodwill he's built with fans and promoters. If he doesn't face Roach, he risks being seen as a champion who cherry-picks opponents, avoiding those who pose a real threat. A fight with Pacquiao could be a massive payday, but it's contingent on him handling his business in the ring and out. For now, the boxing world is left waiting, with Roach training for a fight that may never happen, Stevenson eyeing a new challenge, and Pacquiao plotting a comeback that could shake up the sport. The only certainty is that the lightweight division remains as unpredictable as ever, with egos, legal battles, and unfulfilled promises shaping its future.